A lot on the line here inside of Grand Park. USL W League action. The top of the division of the Great Lakes is on the line here this evening as Racing Louisville FC gets set to take on the women of Indy 11. Good evening, everybody. Alongside Phil Presser, the director of the Indiana Fire, I'm Kurt Darling. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight as we have a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack here, Phil. Needless to say, a lot on the line here for these two squads here to try and get to first place in the Great Lakes Division.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the second time they've met each other. Obviously, the first time was down in Louisville with very, very windy conditions. As you can see, the venue here is inside, no wind, no weather. It should be a very, very good game.
And of course, we take a look at those conference standings here right now. As you can see, Indy 11, just a slim advantage in the record-wise, but of course tied in the points. 5-0-2 on the year, even though they have played one less game than Racing Louisville here to 8 games for Racing Louisville. They have that extra point from that loss as well. But bottom line is this, coming into this one, you know you have a lot on the line here at Indy 11. What do you exactly tell your team going into this one with how much is at stake?
Well, the standings tell you all you need is a point, but you can never go into a game like that. You got to go into the game wanting to win. Both teams are playing to win tonight, and that's the biggest thing. It's all about how you take the field and the mindset behind things. And obviously, the clubs have their own built-in rivalry, and there's a lot on the line. They're also playing for their coach tonight. So,
and speaking of Coach Dolinsky, obviously that's going to be a big storyline here tonight, on top of a couple key players out of the lineup for the Indy 11 as well. Coach Dolinsky himself is also out of the lineup because of a red card, unfortunately, that he got at the end of the Kings Hammer match.
Yeah, and I think he was taking care of his players on the game on a tough condition on the road, and you know, for him to support his players, ultimately get a red card is not what we want, but I think the team you'll see tonight is going to play for their coach.
Brandon Kim going to be the head coach tonight for the Indy 11. Lots to get to. Stick around. You're watching USL W League action. Indy 11 and Racing Louisville FC here on the ISC Sports Network and 11 Sports.
Honda is the most fuel-efficient automaker in America. That means you get more miles per gallon with Honda. Save at the pump with up to 40 mpgs for Honda cars and SUVs. Search your local Honda dealer today.
So many people were out of work from COVID, not being able to pay their utility bills, not being able to pay their rent, and that's why our job is so important.
And what we've committed to is working with our partners around food pantries, around making sure that people get connected to what they need.
Our job is more than just giving people resources, it's be that hand to help them when they're feeling down.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/simplydelivered. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
Place your soccer bets at Bet Rivers Sportsbook, your new home for soccer betting. The most soccer betting options on the sport you love. We offer live in-game betting on major soccer matches worldwide. We have tons of bets available during game, from money lines, goal spreads, player goals, half bets, and many more. Bet Rivers is proud to be the official sports betting partner of the Indy 11, Indiana's team. Sign up now. We'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, more action, more fun. Place your bets at betrivers.com.
In 7 years, you can meet, get married, have kids, get a dog, and still be covered in your Honda certified vehicle. Get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty, plus factory-trained technicians and Honda genuine parts. Search a local Honda dealer today.
Tonight's game sponsored by the Central Indiana Honda Dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11, and also Community Health Sports Medicine, exceptional care, simply delivered. Welcome back inside of Grand Park here in Westfield, Indiana for tonight's match between the Indy 11 and Racing Louisville FC. Once again alongside Phil Presser, the sporting director of Academy Operations and W League here at the Indy 11. I'm Kurt Darling, and Phil, it's certainly great to be here with you once again. And, you know, this is a huge game as we were talking about. Needless to say, a lot on the line as we were talking about before. What's the feeling now going into a match like this right before kickoff here?
Yeah, you know, first of all, there's a lot of hype going around the league right now about this game. You know, this conference is very, very good, and Racing and Indy 11 are neck to neck. So the hype with the locker room, again, looks like Indy 11 is a bit late to hit the field now. They're probably getting after a little bit inside, getting their mentalities right. New coach tonight in replace of Paul Dolinsky. So my guess is they're going to take the field flying, playing for their coach tonight.
And as we take a look at these teams, let's take a look at the starting lineups. First, let's go with Racing Louisville FC. As you see the bench right there, needless to say, this is a talented roster with head coach Kincaid Schmidt at the helm. But you're going to be seeing a lot of players, and of course some very familiar with as well, Autumn Weeks and Allison Whitfield, products of the program here with Indiana Fire.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if Racing take the field with 1-6 or 2-6s, which might change the aggression they're going into the game. With 1-6, they're going to be pushing 2-10s and looking to get after the game a bit. If they sit too deep, then they'll see how the game plays as they move on. But the biggest difference tonight is the size of the field for Racing. When you go down there, I think it's 105 or 110 in length by about 67. We're at about 120 by 78 here tonight. So the dimensions of the field are certainly going to be different for Racing.
Now we take a look at the starting lineups from Indy 11 here. Starting lineups brought to you by Central Indiana Honda Dealers. Mackenzie Wood back in the goal here tonight after a good showing, giving up 1 goal to Kings Hammer back on Tuesday. But needless to say, you have that very, very stealth and very, very apt front line there led by Maddie Williams.
Yeah, I would say Mackenzie's probably on the line for goalkeeper of the year so far, certainly in this conference. She stood her head last time we went down there to Racing, and good to have her back in the lineup. And you know, Maddie Williams, Rachel McCarthy, and Katie Soderstrom up top. I mean, they're good for a goal every game. So we'll see if they can continue that streak.
Mackenzie Wood had a shutout the last time these two teams played down in Louisville. That was a 2-0 victory for the Indy 11, and certainly a key one that they would like to replicate here this evening. Moving on now to the keys of the game. Again, sponsored by Central Indiana Honda Dealers. Phil, what are the big keys that the team needs to focus on here this evening?
Well, last time we played them, Racing took the field, and they had a lot of combination play through the middle. Center backs, balls going right into their striker, and then really making good runs beyond midfield through there. So defensively, making sure we have a good effort to balance that out, having more of a diamond in midfield than a 4-4-2 should be able to cut some of those out. We need to stay compact defensively. And like I said, as long as we're good defensively, our front three are very, very dangerous going forward.
5-0-2 on the year on the 11. Racing Louisville FC is 5-1-2. Top of the division on the line here tonight as we have 90 minutes of USL W League soccer underway here at Grand Park. And right out of the gate, Racing Louisville coming on a huge charge. As you see, Emily Madrill getting into the penalty area, has the cross. It's held up inside, pressure felt, and it's finally cleared out by the back line of the 11.
Well, good thing it was cleared out. You know, we've had 2 road games where we've been scored on in the first minute of the game. Sometimes that's just a mental, it starts to become mental for the team and their performance. You know, if we can get through the first couple minutes scoreless.
And here you see Allison Whitfield sending one inside. Transfer, or rather she had her second goal of the season versus Flint City back on May 22nd, a graduate from Louisville in 2019. So Mackenzie Wood sends it long into the midfield here, try to get things going for the 11. Here's McCarthy. And McCarthy double teamed right there in the middle. And that's Autumn Weeks. And we have a stoppage in play for a free kick here for Racing.
Yeah, you can kind of see already 24 there on the ball. Clara, she's sitting more as a double 6. So as expected, you know, away from home, I think they're going to be a little bit more protective of transition moments with having two 6s. So as the game goes, we'll see if they make a change and push 2 10s higher up the field to get more offensive organization.
Indy has had a hard time getting across midfield here in the first couple minutes or so. Another free kick coming for Racing. And here you see Sam Carey lining up on the ball, along with a little bit of help from Clara Robbins. Robbins already 4 goals on the year for Racing, and it'll be Carey taking it. She has 11 shots taken. She likes to keep it on the ground. Here's Robbins. Pressure being felt there by Soderstrom of the 11. And just making it that much more difficult for her. Dumped off, pushing it inside is Gamelli. Up top, shot on the way, and it is just wide of the reach of Mackenzie Wood and out of play. So needless to say here, Phil, lots of pressure being felt here by this back line of the 11 early.
Yeah, you're still looking for, you know, missing Molly McLaughlin. You know, she's a natural leader in midfield and a natural organizer. And you're looking like right now in these moments, and there's not much communication in those moments as of right now. So it might take a bit of time for these women to get used to each other here.
And you mentioned Molly McLaughlin not in the lineup in the midfield tonight for the 11. She is gone with a planned family absence. Meanwhile, also out of the lineup tonight, Christina Lynch, who had a big goal against Midwest United a couple of weeks ago here at Grand Park, is also out. She went down with an ankle injury against Kings Hammer.
Yeah, this is the third game in 7 days, and obviously the last game on Tuesday was on the road in about 100-degree heat on turf. Be interested today to see how we're feeling and when we need to use our depth.
Certainly a difference playing in a nice air-conditioned arena like we have here at Grand Park. Flying up the right side, cross inside, and it's hastily defended by the back line of the 11. Julia Leonard will corral things and send it up to Chester.
Yeah, did a good job there in transition in the back line, dropping pretty quickly and not a lot of space behind. Obviously, it was a miscue of the clearance in the box, but the defending up to that point was very good.
Racing, going up the far side with Carey. Carey tries to turn the corner, and it's chipped out of play, and it will be a corner kick, it appears, for Racing Louisville. So the players taking their time to line things up. Another solid crowd on hand here tonight at Grand Park. The team averaging around 1,500 people a night for these home matches. Sam Carey will take it in. Headed up. Lots of traffic, and now here's an opportunity for the 11 to try and open things up. Long ball hits Soderstrom in stride, almost well placed there by Addie Chester. Racing Louisville is there to make things just that much more difficult.
Yeah, great opportunity on the weak side there. If that ball, you know, just 5 more yards, we got a 2v1 on the far side there. Great counterattack option. It's nice to see if we can keep the ball a little bit here.
Allison Whitfield in on that defensive pressure. So back and forth we go here in the midfield as we go out of play once again. A throw in for Racing Louisville. Racing coached by Kincaid Schmidt, who was previously the junior academy director there at Racing Louisville FC before taking on the role here of head coach for the W League. Native of Florida, she also played at Flinger College Division II. Here's Ashley Cathro getting her first feet on the ball for the night, and it gets pressured out of play. Racing backs it off now. And again, as we were talking about the fact that, you know, Racing kind of changing up their midfield formation a little bit to kind of make things a little bit more challenging there in the midfielders for the.
Yeah, they had a lot of success last game of playing right through their strikers and having players run off. There you go.
Onside is McCarthy. An opportunity. Gets up against the goal, and it's saved by Enneking. What a play by Macy Enneking, the goalkeeper of Racing Louisville, to get up in McCarthy's face.
And Rachel's so good at making those runs behind the back line. That's one thing, you know, one area we know we can get at them because of their smaller field, is to get behind them. It looks like she took one extra little touch before finishing that so the goalkeeper could get set. But really, really good timing of the pass and the running behind.
So McCarthy opts to send it up top here. The 11 finally have a little bit of room to work. McCarthy crosses it inside, a little bit too far of the reach of Carson Cherry, getting her first start of the season this evening. Carson Cherry, a product of Lafayette Central Catholic up in northern Indiana. She played women's basketball as well, was a 1,000-point scorer there, but opted to go the soccer route.
And you can see the compactness of the field right now. When you play a diamond, Addie Chester and Ella Rogers playing the 8s, they're coming so far over. There's not much space at all for Racing to play through. And this is exactly what Coach Paul had designed.
So Racing Louisville comes out of the throw-in. Buying their time there is Sam Carey, but now you see a little bit more pressure up front from the 11. Long ball sent in. And Julia Leonard puts that right into the feet of Cathro. And Cathro has some numbers. Here's Weeks. Gives it off now to Gamelli.
Yeah, anytime they go with a long ball there to our center backs, the center back has to do a good job. If they're not passing the ball down with their head to the next line, you have to go over that first line of defense. So give up that shot from distance there on a miscue, misheader.
Racing Louisville has not lost a match since their loss to Indy 11 back on May 20th. They have one draw in that time span against AFC Ann Arbor back on June 10th. Sent in by the 11, cleared out again by Enneking.
Indy's dropping very well here. The key is our midfield. They have to make sure we drop with them, stay compact for those second balls, and Racing's midfield running through.
Robin McCarthy disrupting that run there from Racing. Ella Sanchez getting a few touches on that. Sanchez scored a goal against Flint City back on the 22nd. On the interception there is Hernandez. And this time leaving the throw in for Indy. McCarthy sends it in. And she hits Rachel McCarthy.
It's a fantastic ball.
And here come the 11 this time on the other side. You have Carson Cherry with a nice cross, but deflected in traffic.
You know, Carson's always done a very good job. That's one of her strengths, is getting forward out of the outside back. As she grows more mature in the game, in moments like that, what you want to do is bring the ball forward if it's not on, to get possession in the front half.
Also for Carson Cherry, she might be playing against a couple of her teammates next year. She's going to be playing at the. Also joining Addie Chester. So needless to say, getting a little bit familiar in college here in this one.
Yeah, Louisville's done a good job in this market. You know, they didn't have a youth system prior to a few years back, so a lot of players from Louisville would actually travel up here to Indy Fire and play in the ECNL program. And now that they got their own program, they realize the market up here is still very, very strong, and it's encouraging that they're coming up here for the university.
Of course, Racing Louisville FC, pre-professional leg of the NWSL team of Racing Louisville FC, who are connected to Louisville City FC from the side. So Mackenzie Wood telling her team to get things in check here before she sends it on. Otterstrom just a little bit off the mark. Competing in midfield. McCarthy tries to chip it. Some good footwork there by Greta Krasula, whose name we have yet to mention tonight. One of the few international players on this roster for the 11 from Australia. Played for VCU where she was in, led them to an A10 title when she was there.
Yeah, 2 possessions in a row right there didn't come through, but I like the idea of both Addie Chester and McCarthy trying to play the around the corner pass to break the midfield line.
Whitfield sends it in, header just over the post, and a American football field goal, needless to say. Of course, you have the Grand Park here. You have the netting behind the goals where you have the makeshift goalposts for American football when the Colts are practicing here.
Yeah, they've added a few lines on the field in between the front of the season and the end of the season as well here. So
you certainly see football lines, some lacrosse lines, as well as the soccer pitch as well.
It certainly helps with your team's compactness. Moments here, we got to start winning the 50-50 balls, the loose balls. It seems that Racing's just got a little bit more legs underneath them right now, which is expected after a tough road trip for Indy 11 on Tuesday. You know, we've seen some early mistakes and a little bit fatigue, and sometimes as a player you just got to get through the first 10, 15, 20 minutes before you gain full strength again.
This portion of the match sponsored by Community Health Sports. Exceptional care simply delivered.
2 for 2 in the box right now.
Indy 11 swarming the throw-in. Here's Whitfield. Crosses it on the ground, and it's chipped out of play and high and into the second level stands. Luckily, we have a good crew of ball girls on hand to keep this thing moving.
Yeah, you know, when the ball was wide, I was just watching in the penalty box, and even though it was 2 versus 2 or 2 versus 3, good man marking. They've been very proactive about how they defend in the box.
Carey will send it in from the other side on the corner. In traffic, header at the goal, and deflected out of the penalty area. And the loose ball goes out of bounds for a racing throw-in.
Nice job there from Indy 11, stepping the box together, getting outside of that 18. Really limits the options of racing in that moment if they win that loose ball. Once again, you see the horizontal compactness from the opposite 8 of Indy 11. Really doing a good job managing the balls through the lines for racing.
Cross inside. Cherry there to defend. And chipped up and taken by McCarthy, and a whistle and a foul on McCarthy for a free kick.
Yeah, it's still probably outside shooting distance. You know, the last free kick they had about 8 or 9 minutes ago was right in the middle. It's a very difficult area to have a free kick, which is why they played it wide before they try to get it in. Now it's in a little bit more of a wide. We'll look to see a service in the box here.
So a 2-player wall here as you have a couple players teeing up to take the shot. Here you have Clara Robbins and Sam Carey.
Hey, you just got to make sure the wall breaks off here. I don't believe it's shooting distance. If Clara makes a run around the wall, we got to make sure the wall breaks off and defends that well.
So about 30 yards out. Robbins sending it in and just missing the header off. Classic basketball pick. Allison.
Yeah, so, you know, as a coach, you always wonder, you know, do you drop the line together or do you man mark in moments like that? When you man mark, everything's touch tight, but you're right, if you get picked, then you get free. When the line drops together, you're not as tight as on your man, but you give up.
Mackenzie Wood sends it in. Bounced forward. Just out of the reach of Maddie Williams. Here's Ella Rogers getting her pocket picked by Itala Grimelli. She sends it back to Whitfield. Whitfield forward to Robbins. And triple teamed there. Racing Louisville forced to abort the attack and bring it back again. Sanchez looks long to Carey. Carey with some openings, has it inside of the penalty area, chipped in, saved by Mackenzie Wood.
Once again, Mackenzie Wood, you know, when we played down in racing a few weeks back, I mean, she stood on her head. She had an unbelievable game.
Nice feet and anticipation by Wood.
Set well, fantastic reaction.
This portion of the match brought to you by Central Indiana Honda Dealers, automotive sponsor of Indy 11. Here's an opening for Maddie Williams, shot up, and it's just chipped up by the defender, gets it back. Here's Rogers, pushes it forward to McCarthy. She has a shot on goal, and it's chipped out.
I'd like to see the replay. Ref's got his flag up. Looks like it was a handball in the box. Should be a penalty kick.
And that could be a big defining moment of this match. The refs take a look at it here. Chipped up. McCarthy gets the hand on it, or rather the foot on it. And that looked like it was a handball, and indeed that appears.
Looks like they called it just on the edge of the box.
But it will not be a penalty kick. Just outside the penalty area, so it's a free kick, not a penalty kick. This portion of the match brought to you by Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers, official sports betting partner of Indy 11. Bet with a winner. So here we go. Needless to say, a pretty close call here as you see the Racing Louisville FC trying to get away with a wall as close as they can to this free kick, but this is dangerous if you're racing.
Well, anytime you have a former professional player, Maddie Williams, over the ball from 18 yards out, this is a nightmare for the opposition.
Here's Maddie Williams. She'll take the shot. No, sent inside by, looked like that was
Grace Barr.
Grace Barr that time, and it's chipped out. And the Brickyard Battalion won a penalty, or won a foul by the, actually. Instead, it goes out of play, and we continue forward in this one. So needless to say, kind of a missed opportunity there by the 11. Brought forward now by Racing. Allison Schlegel getting her first start of the season tonight here for Racing Louisville FC. Ashley Cathro feeling the pressure there from Rogers. Here's Chester. Tries to find some room to cross it in. Instead, it'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes here, you see, I mean, Racing had a bit of the ball. Indy 11 seemed pretty relaxed defensively. But there's been 2 or 3 now moments of transition. They've created a lot of good opportunities. You might see the game to start to turn here a little bit.
So settling things back down now here is Enneking. Enneking now 17 saves on the season with that earlier save with that shot on goal from the 11. Racing slips away with the ball. It's Gamelli. She pushes it forward. Cross. You got me? You got me back? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Racing's just so athletic. You know, they continue to win the second balls, the loose balls, and that's causing a lot more possession moments for them. You know, it's a very good team, but we got Indy 11's got to be a little bit more sharp and understanding where the next ball is going to drop.
Combating for the header, gets down into the feet. There at McCarthy, rather at Krasula. Gamelli dribbles it around, leaves it for her teammates on the far side. Here's Carey.
See now the 7-Elevens on Racing starting to come really wide through the penetrating that diamond as they did there.
And trying to do some quick footwork there to set up a quick attack just off the mark.
You can see they're trying to pull Indy 11 left to right as far as they can to create those moments inside. Very important for Indy 11 to stay compact. You'd rather give up the wide areas versus the central channels.
And Maddie Williams disrupts the back and forth between Racing players. And a throw in here for Louisville. Cherry kicks it back to Leonard. Here's Rogers sending it forward, trying to find Williams. Soderstrom hits Williams, and just a little bit too close of a door there to try and get anything running, but still nice awareness by the rest of the 11. But again, a given up ball right there at three-quarter field.
Yeah, again, once the transition moment's gone in that first pass, that second pass to the third pass, you got to realize, let's just keep possession in the front half and rest on the attack. It's one moment of the game where we can certainly do better.
This portion of the match sponsored by Alpha Health and Wellness, the official team chiropractor of the Indy 11. Just out of the reach of Soderstrom on that take. And it just seems to me here, Phil, that all of the scoring opportunities that the 11 have had, they're simply coming in spurts. There's not a whole lot of consistent attack here throughout this match.
Yeah, and again, you know, whether it was said or not in the locker room, ultimately, when you don't concede goals and you let the opposition get comfortable, that's going to create moments to counterattack and getting behind. And because we have the point difference in the standings, we can certainly get away with that.
Brandon Kim guiding the 11 here tonight, with Coach Paul Dolinsky sitting out with a red card from the previous match. And so far the 11 holding their own here at 0-0 through the first 23 minutes and some change. Long ball from Carey. Trying to find Gamelli. Well defended by the 11. And they clear it out. Playing some header ball here between the players. They're at the 18. Here's McCarthy trying to push it forward to Williams, who was onside on the run, but not enough juice on it.
You'd like to see the back line step up just a little bit in these moments. Shrink the field just a little bit. Most of Racing's attacks have been on the outside, then through into the feet of the target. So not really trying to get behind the back line. It's very important the back line keeps compact to minimize the amount of running from our midfielders.
Soderstrom almost trips herself up there to try and get away from the defender of Racing Louisville. Pushes it forward to McCarthy. She tries to turn it around. Here's Chester. Chester pushes it wide now. Knocking it in. Chester tripped, and no foul.
Yeah, great for Soderstrom there. That's exactly what we're talking about. You know, she recognized that the attack was going around midfield. She dribbled up a little bit, kept the ball in the front half, made the extra passes, allows us to rest in the front half of the field.
Just a play on the ball there, according to the officials, and we play on.
There's a good win, picking up the second ball, picking up the loose ball, starting to become more engaged. Very, very important.
Nice ball movement there between Chester McCarthy and Rachel McCarthy. And now the Indy consistently applying the pressure offensively here over the last 5 minutes.
Kick or a throw in. Indy 11's kind of taking their time to get the ball back in, and they do it for a reason. Obviously, a points work. These small moments, we need extra rest.
Nothing doing. And here's Grace Barr to corral it onto the back line here for the 11. Pushed forward. McCarthy's going to pick up the loose ball. She's double teamed though, and it's going to be an offside call, as you mentioned there, Phil, and a turnover back to Racing.
Yeah, Grace Barr is a very good soccer player. She does tend to look for the long ball first. You'd like to see the forwards be on a little bit more of the same page with Grace, knowing when she gets the ball, look to run in behind.
Barr keeps it out of the penalty area. Meanwhile, Racing comes back with it. Cathro.
You look at Racing's midfield, even when the ball goes wide now, since they dropped that midfield, because of a few counterattacks they've given away, they're not getting as high, they're not getting as many numbers in and around the box, which is a good sign for Indy 11.
So both teams kind of going back and forth and trading offensive attacks here, consistently anyway, as Racing gets organized.
Yeah, you see McCarthy there on the ball. It's good for all young kids that are watching this game. She defended that 30 yards. She just ran back to down press that ball and help out her team defending. Sometimes forwards believe they just get attack. That's a great example by McCarthy tracking back.
Autumn Weeks sends it to her goalkeeper, Enneking, who will send it back into the midfield.
Yeah, when the ball goes back to the goalkeeper there for Racing, you'd like to see our back line step up to midfield and push the offsides. That allows our midfielders to step a little bit higher and moments of transition so we can win more loose balls.
Carson Cherry dumps it back to Grace Barr.
Again, Grayson looking over distance.
Sending it long. Williams was onside on the far side of the field, but couldn't quite get it to her. Here's Sanchez. She dumps it off to Cathro, and Cathro gets her pocket picked there by McCarthy. Here's Chester sending it forward to Williams, who's onside. She beats the back line, fires, and it's in! 1-0, Indy 11. How about that there, Phil Presser? Take a look at this again.
You know, it just really went from Maddie Williams. You know, Maddie is not the one to continue to run behind as much as, you know, Rachel McCarthy would or Kater Soderstrom would. So for her to make that run behind was just pure intelligence, seeing the game, timing it right. I thought she might have taken that first touch too early to her right because the goalkeeper wasn't exiting. But I'll tell you what, anytime you have that good of a finish and the proper technique, low to the corner, that's an absolute gift.
And with that goal, that is Maddie Williams of the season, tying her for second in scoring in the USL W League Great Lakes Division, along with her teammate, Katie Soderstrom.
Yeah, just 1 week ago, she got a hat trick. You know, she's a seasoned veteran. She's a professional. You just like to see how she's turning up the season. You know, sometimes when professionals, I guess, come back in this environment, they may take their foot off the gas, and she's certainly proven to be such a great leader, taking this team, you know, carrying her on the back, being a good teammate, helping defend. What a good soccer player. Brilliant, absolute brilliant technique.
This portion of the match brought to you by Soccer Saturday. Soccer Saturday presented by Indy 11. Join us every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. So, Phil, now that you have that first goal here, if you're the 11, 30 minutes in, you kill a lot of time there just kind of grinding it out. How big is it, especially mentally, just to get that big monkey off of your shoulder, especially with what's at stake here today?
I take a look at it from the opposition coach. You know, a team that's defending well and able to punish you off the counter, now they can even do so even more. And affords you the opportunity to put in defenders or midfielders versus attacking players as the game goes on. But anytime you have these front three, as we said at the beginning of the game, anytime anyone can punish you, there's so much quality in that front three. You just wonder how much gas they have in the tank, being their third game in 7 days.
Conditioning certainly a big factor in the game of soccer. And right now, Indy 11 looking quite content with how much running they've been having to do to fend off the attacks here of the Racing Louisville attack.
Yeah, and Ella Rogers a fantastic job. They're charting more miles and steps than anybody else in the field right now, covering the diamond, the wide area of the diamonds, constantly putting pressure on the opposition. Again, you'd like to see the back line step up a little bit higher here on the same page. Not just for this game, just for their growth of the game as they work towards the end of the desire to play in playoffs and go as far as we can in this inaugural season. Every little moment matters.
Indy 11 certainly making the most of whatever moments that they've had here in the first 30 minutes.
And once again, Addie Chester she sprinted about 30 stands. It's a left-sided player there. She takes away the left-sided cross versus allowing it.
Addie Chester still searching for that elusive first goal of the season. Mind you, she is a midfielder tonight, so not the primary target when it comes to someone firing a shot, but needless to say, she is someone who knows how to score 201 career goals in her.
And here we go again.
McCarthy.
Offside.
Offside there is Soderstrom. That's a clear call for the ref. But still the right idea, just one too many steps past the last defender.
Well, again, it's reading the game a little bit. Carson Cherry is a fantastic player. I think she might be the youngest player in the field. Soderstrom made the run early to get behind. Carson chose to play feet instead. It's her decision. Then that next pass, you know, ultimately put Soderstrom offsides.
And that's certainly the beauty of the game that we have, not just right here in front of us, but from the USL W League, where you have players as young as Carson Cherry and Addie Chester playing with seasoned veterans such as Katie Soderstrom, excuse me, and Maddie Williams, who have both had a lot of experience in other levels.
Oh yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me. It's not going to happen this year, but as early as next year. I mean, there's kids in the ECNL system, the U system. 2007, Emma Johnson, Risa Hockey. There's players coming through the system that are absolutely fantastic. They're here at all these games. These girls out here are their ambition, their inspiration to continue to come through the system.
Soderstrom with a threatening cross back the other way. She literally turned all the way around the defender, but no one was there to corral it.
And I'm just looking at the attention to detail from Racing. You know, they're very good on the attack.
And Cherry sends it up to McCarthy, and it goes out of play for a goal kick.
There's a lot of little mistakes from their back line and their midfielders in those moments. They look a little relaxed, in my opinion, in those moments. We just got to make sure we keep our focus as we attack, see if we can continue to penetrate them.
So about 11 minutes and some change left here in this first half. Indy 11 sitting in a good spot. And Racing Louisville trying to take them out of that good spot right here.
And once again, our midfielders is doing such a fantastic job of denying the runs through midfield and taking away their strengths, going back to the keys of the game.
Here's Whitfield with an opening on the near side.
The back line's all on the same page there. Very good, touch tight.
Here's Robbins. And nicely done there by Greta. Harass her and force a corner kick.
Yeah, and I think that could be a little bit of fatigue there from Greta. You'd like to see her, you know, maybe use her body a little bit more there, push off the ball, take a touch, get it out for a throw-in, put it up the line versus give another corner kick away.
Once again, Sam Carey, their specialist with corner kicks, will send it into some traffic. Delivered inside and way off the mark there, as Racing Louisville once again will have to do it the hard way.
Look at Mackenzie Wood back there, just shout in her box. Pointing, on her toes.
And now the 11, 3-on-3 here. Williams shakes off the defender. Looked like we got a little jersey grabbing there, but now Chester is sent in onside. Has some room, sends it in. Cleared out there by Weeks.
Great counter pressing there.
And now Chester going to try again. This time from the top of the 18. Here's Rogers. Leaves it for Williams. Shot on goal, and it is corralled by Enneking.
And once again, debatable call there. Could have been a yellow card after the play. In the middle midfield, she tried grabbing her, but she couldn't foul her. The counter-pressing moment there from Robin McCarthy to keep the ball in the front half created that opportunity in the end. Very good, very well done.
Onside on the delivery is Gamelli. She crosses in dangerously out of the reach of Schlegel.
Yeah, it was good defending there. Ultimately, the 9 was able to run in from 20 yards out of the box unscathed. And it was just a matter of who got the ball first. More contact early on in that movement.
Allison Schlegel is dangerous in the goal-scoring realm. 30 career goals in her time at Penn State. She's a redshirt junior. All Big Ten second team a season ago.
And you see how many numbers Indy 11 has around the ball just from being in such a compact area, bringing those 8s all. Racing can't even breathe over there.
This portion of the match sponsored by Central Indiana Honda Dealers, the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11.
Under 9 minutes left until halftime. It's so critical that Indy 11 come out of this half not giving up a goal.
Long delivery to Whitfield. One-on-one with Cherry. Cherry, nice footwork to defend it and send it out of play. Just such poise shown here by the young Cherry.
She's so athletic. She's able to dance there with the attacker very well, kept her feet, knew when to hit it out of bounds. Again, the back line's got to step together here, help the midfielders keep the compactness, deny the entry balls, keep them wide.
Emily Madrill gives it back to Whitfield.
So now you see Racing, they've got 3, 4, 5, 6 players in and around the 18. So they're going to start taking their chances, which really opens up even more of a deadly counterattack for Indy 11.
Clara Robbins has options. Sends it forward. Robbins back on the delivery, and well defended by the veteran Grace Barr, who is the player coach on the field here for the 11.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they want. They want to get the ball wide in the channel. They want to find it, the 7 or 11 or the 9, and have the 10s run off them. Have to do a good job of fouling our runs.
Here's Madrill, pressured into the corner. Gives it back to Carey. And now Robbins. Long to Weeks. Header inside, flipped up. Nicely done there by Schlegel. But too many Indy 11 shirts there to make anything of it. Here's Schlegel again now on the far side of the penalty area. And there's a trip dangerously close. And a foul is going to be the call, but it looks like it's going to be just outside of the penalty area.
You know, Coach Paul Zielinski's done a fantastic job teaching box defending. I mean, when the ball goes wide, they're in line together, they're marking up, their toes are facing out, their hips are turned, ready to clear the ball. You know, that ball that was slipped in there, they narrowed in the back and brought numbers inside versus just stayed in the line and kept it wide. Just great to watch.
Soderstrom gets tangled up there with Hernandez.
And here's where you want to take some air out of the game. No rush. Sometimes potentially even have Z, nicknamed Z, Mackenzie Wood, come up and take this kick. Maybe push it in the other team's half, final third. But take some wind out of the game right now.
Instead, it'll be Julia Leonard to send it on. And she does so, finding Williams. Williams leaves it there for Soderstrom. Soderstrom from the 18. Can't get anything in there on the defense of Racing. But still, the 11 keep possession.
Very opportunistic there by Soderstrom, but you see the attack the way it's lined up. We're still even narrow in the attack to make sure we're winning those counter-pressing moments versus stretching the attack wide and giving them opportunities to counter.
Here's Leonard, finds Chester, outside to Williams. Williams tries to feed it inside to Soderstrom. Too many Racing Louisville defenders in the box, and Racing Louisville will clear it out.
And that's the nice thing about, I think we had 3 or 4 attackers in the box. When we do that, they've got to drop off. So our counter-pressing game, we had 4 against 1, and they had no outlets.
This portion of the match sponsored by Central Indiana Honda Dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. On the far side, Madrill puts it right into the side of the goalpost.
You know, Julia Leonard's positioning there was excellent. Ultimately, you know, she's going against a very, very good athlete, so she was able to get the cross off. But the way she stepped out of the box and delayed this here allowed everyone else to get back and have numbers up in the box. Just good angles of play. She's a very, very intelligent soccer player.
Meanwhile, in the first match between these two, as you mentioned, Phil, Mackenzie Wood was standing on her head, as you said, because she was a closeout player in the goal because Racing was able to get past the back line so much. You're not seeing a whole lot of head standing this time. The back line's doing a solid job giving her help.
They are, and they've dropped really well, which it's a good and a bad thing. As early as they're dropping, we're requiring a lot more running from our midfielders, but that's naturally what those women in the midfield are good at. They don't mind running. It just depends on how long they can go. We have very, very good depth coming off the bench that can replace that. See here, they just drop off, they take away the space behind, and now they'll push the ball wide. They'll take away the inside lanes.
Here comes Whitfield. Whitfield working on her future teammate Carson Cherry, cross inside and on to the top of the net behind the post.
And you see there's
presented by Central Indiana Honda Dealers, the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11. Sorry, was I too quick on that?
No, it's my bad.
So racing with a few minutes left to work with here in this opening half. Here's Robbins sending it into the penalty area, chipped up by the back line. Stays in play. Robbins. Back with it again. Has the room for the cross. And the 11 miss it, but it goes past, and we have a foul in the penalty area on Racing Louisville, so it'll be a goal kick coming up from Mackenzie Wood.
Yeah, I was getting ready to call that foul for the referee. She pushed over the back. It was very good defending once again. You know, Indy 11's done such a good job defensively. Racing's just, you can see they're starting. You've had 2 crosses in the last 5 minutes go straight out of bounds. You know, when little things start to happen, that part of it's they're getting tired, but also it's frustration from the attackers, and it lessens your confidence to want to get forward in the box and make good runs.
So Soderstrom sends it forward. Nobody there to corral it behind her. Of course, that would have been offsides. Here's Gamelli. Puts it forward to Carey.
Yeah, you see 15 creeping in there inside. We just got to make sure, if you know, there's 2 minutes left. I know we want to press. I know we want the ball, but let's just make sure we track the runs through midfield.
Major stoppages so far here in this first half, so probably anticipating no more than 2 minutes of stoppage time as we enter the final minute of regulation here in the first half.
Indy 11 tries to turn them around there again. Most of the balls over the top have gone right through the central channel. You'd like to see a little bit more angles at times just to turn Racing around and make them make plays facing their own goal.
On the near side is Gamelli. She sends it forward now for Robbins.
I'll tell you what, very good job, Grace, there covering. Carson Cherry, she stepped out. She probably should have just stayed and protected the space versus applying pressure on the attacking player there.
And then there's Cherry again with the defensive play on the send in there from Gamelli. Still coming away with it. Gamelli with a long cross. Just a little too far there for Cathro to do anything with it. So as we are at mark here of the first half, we await how many minutes we have left. 1 minute. We will have 1 extra minute of stoppage time here in this first half. Needless to say, that is the mark of an efficiently played first half.
Yeah, and these are just when you think it's over, these is when most of the goals come. So whoever wins this first and second ball here could have 1 more opportunity on goal.
And we have a whistle before the kick, and a yellow card going to be issued against Rachel McCarthy. Not sure what was being said or done right there between players or the officials. Either way, McCarthy trying to plead her case.
Yeah, a bit of a tugging with each other right there. Went one way versus the other, but like I said, last play of the game, they're probably going to try to maybe get it wide real quick, serve it in the box, look for a loose ball. Indy 11's got to step up. They got to step out their back line.
So out of play it goes.
That should run out the half right there.
Probably get 1 last throw in here as the official says play on.
So ultimately, if you're Coach Brandon Kim down there on the sideline for your inaugural game stepping in, that's exactly what you'd like to see in the first half.
So with that, we go to halftime as the Indy 11, in a tough match with a lot riding on the line, they go to the halftime lead off of a big goal from Maddie Williams. With that, we'll pause for this quick timeout. When we come back, we'll break down a few things from the first half of this match, and we also have a special halftime guest for you, so stick around. You're watching Indy 11 Soccer here on ISC Sports Network and 11 Sports.
Honda is the most fuel-efficient automaker in America. That means you get more miles per gallon with Honda. Save at the pump with up to 40 mpgs for Honda cars and SUVs. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Everybody has different needs and different abilities to seek care, and we want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the patient in the way they want to seek care. Certainly, I feel that COVID has changed the way we deliver healthcare. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Patients have responded to the virtual options. Many find it such a positive experience and they want it to continue. And that's what we're really committed to doing here, is creating a simple option, the option that suits the patient.
Stand by me.
In 7 years, you can meet, get married, have kids, get a dog, and still be covered in your Honda certified vehicle. Get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty, plus factory-trained technicians and Honda genuine parts. Search a local Honda dealer today.
A great position to be in here at halftime for the Indy 11 as they have a 1-0 lead over Racing Louisville FC for a chance to secure the top spot in the Great Lakes Division. Once again, alongside with Phil Presser, I'm Kurt Darling. Phil Presser, the sporting director, academy operations, as well as W League here for the Indy 11, also the technical director for the Indiana Fire. Phil, we'll talk more about your roles here in just a minute. That's certainly a very long job title that that you have to keep track of right there. But needless to say, talking about this first half, what are your initial assessments of how the 11 played?
I think it's brilliant from the scouting department from Coach Paul Dolinsky right now. If you know, he adjusted the way he played against them last time. He's taken away everything inside, taken away Racing's complete game plan. For me, it'll be interesting to see how Racing adjusts for the second half.
Indeed, it will be. Two players that are certainly playing well right now are Mackenzie Wood and Maddie Williams. Mackenzie Wood so far with a stand-up job in the goal. Meanwhile, Maddie Williams had the go-ahead goal for the Indy 11. Of course, those are two players here, Phil, that are part of the USL W League all-month team, which is certainly a big honor for them for the month of May. We'll have that graphic for you, but certainly, yeah, it's a big honor for them to really get into that big conversation, considering this initial season for the W League.
Yeah, and I would expect them to be back there in the month of June and the month of July, and at the end of the season, all league performance. I mean, they're just two fantastic soccer players. You know, defending the goal, protecting the goal, and then, you know, up front, you know, Katie's joined by Rachel and Maddie Williams, and it just looks like they all three interchange so well. They have so much fun together. There's so much knowledge there. It's enjoyable to watch.
So Maddie Williams now with 6 goals on the season, tied for second most in the Great Lakes Division with her go-ahead goal earlier on in the match. So Phil, obviously it takes a lot to put this whole organization together. You wear several hats here, of course, technical director for the Indiana Fire, which has been working hand in hand in bringing up this organization for the Indy 11 on the women's side. You are sporting director at academy operations as well for the W League. You know, how has it been? What has the process been like for you as well as the entire organization, just really building this thing up into something that clearly has a lot of potential?
Greg Stremlau was brought in, I believe, 4 years ago, and he's done a fantastic job of hiring good people, first and foremost. And that's kind of the model I live by with the club. I think there's, you know, about 1,400 kids that play. About 65 coaches, 23 full-time employees, 16 directors. So when you have good people that work underneath the system runs itself. The big thing is just, you know, continue to influence the area, continue to influence the state. I'm from Indiana. I care about Indiana. I want to see Indiana grow. And we're seeing it. I mean, to average over 1,000 in a sold-out crowd every single game for the inaugural season for the W League, this is just amazing to me.
That's certainly the exhibition that we have from the fans on hand here tonight as the Indy 11 have a 1-0 lead over Racing Louisville FC here at halftime. Stick around. Coming up next, head coach Paul Dolinsky of the Indy 11 women's team. He'll be joining us here at halftime. Stick around on ISC Sports Network and 11 Sports.
Place your soccer bets at Bet Rivers Sportsbook, your new home for soccer betting. Love. We offer live in-game betting on major soccer matches worldwide. We have tons of bets available during game, from money lines, goal spreads, player goals, half bets, and many more. Bet Rivers is proud to be the official winner of the Indy 11, Indiana's team. Sign up now. We'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, more action, more fun. Place your bets at betrivers.com.
So many people were out of work from COVID, not being able to pay their utility bills, not being able to pay their rent, and that's why our job is so important.
And what we've committed to is working with our partners around food pantries, around making sure that people get connected to what they need.
Our job is more than just giving people resources, it's be that hand to help them when they're feeling down.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/simplydelivered. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
Welcome back to halftime here at Grand Park as the Indy 11 have a 1-0 lead over Racing Louisville FC. I'm Kurt Darling, now joined by head coach Paul Dolinsky of the Indy 11 women's soccer team. First of all, Coach, it's kind of a shame to be talking to you right now because obviously I'm sure you want to be down there on the field coaching your team. Obviously, an unfortunate situation there at King's Hammer to give you the red card here. So, needless to say, I'm sure you're a little frustrated to not be down there right now.
Yeah, very hard not to be down there. But the girls have done a great job executing what we wanted to come out and how we wanted to play tonight. Brandon stepped in and has done a great job on the sideline so far, and 1-0 at halftime, no complaints.
So what would you say your assessment is as a head coach? What would you have them do differently going into the second half to try and keep up this pressure that they've been putting on Racing?
I think after we scored the first goal, they started to do things a little bit differently in midfield, so it would be making sure that we're tracking our runners in the midfield, and then a little bit cleaner in the attacking third ourselves. I think we've coughed some balls up that we didn't need to, and trying to create a few more scoring opportunities would be nice.
So, working with this organization, we talked at practice a couple of weeks ago where, you were really eager to coaching role here at Indy 11. From what you told me, it was more of a sense of necessity for you to be a part of this organization and building it up. How has that experience been for you so far?
It's been fantastic. The girls that we brought in, they carry themselves as professionals when they enter the training field, during training, off the field, and again, having a place like Grand Park and the support of Indy 11 behind us, it's been fun. It's been fun, and winning always helps.
And of course, 5-0-1 coming into this one. Needless to say, you want to keep that goose egg in the losers column right there going into the rest of the season.
No, 100%. A win tonight creates a little bit of a cushion for us. A loss, fortunately, doesn't kill us. It makes things a little more interesting the last 4 games of the year. But look, we all love to win. So I think that keeps our spirits up, and it takes us into Tuesday's game feeling better about ourselves.
So where the program is right now, how would you gauge the growth potential for things going into the next season and also future opportunities possibly going to the NWSL, USL League 2? What's your take on how this thing has really progressed from right now?
I think the sky's the limit, and honestly, I think now or in the very near future is the time. Our roster is built that by this time next year, we have players on our roster currently that would be considered professional players because they'll be all be out of college, and then from there, how we build around them. I think the fan support, as we can see, I mean, there's over 1,000 people at every game right now, and the young ladies and the community are eating it up. And oddly enough, I was at the gym today and was recognized by a 14-year-old boy that plays club soccer and said he was coming out to the game. So it's good that it's not just girls, it's boys, girls, men, women that are all supporting the 11 W League team.
It just goes to show you the reach that this sport has certainly had on the Indianapolis area. Coach, best of luck for the rest of the season. Hope to see you back down there next week.
All right, thank you.
Back in a moment here on the ISC Sports Network at 11 Sports.
Honda is the most fuel-efficient automaker in America. That means you get more miles per gallon with Honda. Save at the pump with up to 40 mpgs for Honda cars and SUVs. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Everybody has different needs and different abilities to seek care, and we want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the patient in the way they want to seek care. Certainly, I feel that COVID has changed the way we deliver healthcare. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Patients have responded to the virtual options. Many find it such a positive experience and they want it to continue. And that's what we're really committed to doing here, is creating a simple option, the option that suits the patient.
Stand by me.
In 7 years, you can meet, get married, have kids, get a dog, and still be covered in your Honda certified vehicle. Get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty, plus factory trained technicians and Honda genuine parts. Search a local Honda dealer today.
An excellent crowd on hand here at Grand Park to watch the Indy 11 women as they have a 1-0 advantage over Racing Louisville SFC. Rejoined now by Phil Presser. I'm Kurt Darling. Phil, so we've talked about all the stuff surrounding the program and everything else that has the growth of this potential for the sport. But now let's talk about the game at hand. We may have a few substitutions here going into the second half. We'll see what Coach Brandon Kim decides to do here. But 1-0, you're in a good spot here. What do you tell your team at halftime going into the second half?
Same thing, you know, they've got to beat us to win, and we're up by a goal, and in the grand scheme of things, they would need to score 2. You know, defensively, we've been very, very good in the box. Just have to make sure that our midfielders and our forwards keep dropping together, keeping that compactness. Like you said, with subs, you know, you're probably looking at Melissa Vilatovic coming in for one of the front 3 at some point. Abby Isger maybe coming wide in the back at some point. Jenna Chatterson's going to be a huge key coming in midfield, whether it's now or, you know, 15 minutes into the second half to help those 8s with all that running.
And so that just goes to show you the strategy of kind of subbing in and out, especially after that game on Tuesday down at Kingshammer. Outside in the heat, we've had a record-breaking heat wave as we take a look at a couple of highlights here going into the second half. But still, you know, that just goes to show you that how you have a different mindset for how you sub players in and how you use them going into the second half.
Yeah, I'm looking at that screen right now. Sierra Gerber, the team athletic trainer, all day yesterday. We'll let this play first.
As you see at the beginning of the game, Mackenzie Wood. And just a couple opportunities here as you see McCarthy. That was a huge opportunity, just as you said earlier, one too many touches there.
Yeah, and Racing had a lot of the ball early on, but you're going to find when you watch these highlights, the best goal-scoring opportunities came from Indy 11.
And that's one thing you notice, McCarthy involved in a lot of these plays, setting them up as you see Maddie Williams' goal there at about the 30th minute in the first half. And he had a couple other opportunities as well. And some defensive play as well.
You see how they narrow in. I mean, our wing backs are all the way inside the central channel. They're narrowing in. Very good defending that first half.
And so the celebration there after the goal there for Maddie Williams. Certainly a good spot to be in. So we have teams taking the respective pitch. And as we can see at the moment, we'll have a couple of substitutions here. Racing Louisville, as you see, we're probably going to be having Maddie Reed subbing in for Allison Whitfield of Racing.
Yeah, Whitfield was an outside back. Maddie Reed, I don't know if they're going to come in right off the get-go and go to 1-6 and push 2 10s because they need to score some goals. We'll see how Brandon Kim would adjust in the tactics.
Of course, Allison Whitfield, another one of those ECNL players that you are very familiar with as well. And that just goes to show you the reach of the program that you guys have really built here throughout not just the Indy 11, but through the entirety of the W League.
Yeah, and at halftime there, they made a special announcement for the 2007 and 2008 ECNL teams that are on their way to Seattle for playoffs. 2007's last year had a phenomenal team. They got so far into playoffs, lost on penalty kicks. They're out for vengeance, and the 2008s are right there with them. So congrats on the strength of the program and the development coming through the system.
And when we were talking off air before we were getting going here, as the second half is underway, you mentioned how your junior programs, they won, if I'm not mistaken, 1/3 of the available national championships in just a few short years of just building everything up.
State championships. I wish it was
state
national
championships. Yeah.
Yeah, the program won 13 state championships through all layers. So exciting to see the talent come through this system. As you see now, the 6-year, both 10s are going really, really wide in the wide areas of through midfield. They've adjusted their shape a little bit.
And Maddie Williams pushed to the ground by Ashley Cathro. And needless to say, you definitely feel a sense of urgency out of the gate here from Racing Louisville.
Yeah, and then the opposite. You know, one thing you said is, what do you do as a coach of Indy 11 here? And, you know, you're going to see, you're going to see our teams take advantages of every dead ball, every stoppage, just delaying the game as much as you can. Every second matters.
So on the free kick, the 11 lined up far. In the area, you have Robin McCarthy chatting with the officials. And sending it in is Grace Barr, and that's a shot on goal off the header, and an easy corral there by Wood.
Yeah, it was a great flick on there by Ella Rogers to keep that play alive. Or Addie Chester, sorry.
So back the other way. Racing, trying to organize an attack. Here's Sam Carey, pushes it forward. Outside again to Robbins. Robbins has some room to work with. Chester closes in. Robbins gets it back about 30 yards out. Long ball to Cathro.
They got a free player in the box. We've got to watch out the back there defending, make sure we. Racing's definitely pushing players higher up on that back line.
Sam Carey opts to take it back out again, and they'll reset. Sarah Hernandez sends it back to Carey. Carey feeling the pressure there from Chester. So far, the midfield play here for the Indy 11 appearing to be sound. Harassing on the inside, but once again, here's Autumn Weeks with a slight opening there, trying to find Schlegel, but pushes it a little bit too. In the midfield, here's Rogers putting pressure on Robbins. Weeks knocks it ahead, and she finds Sanchez. Sanchez pushes it far now for Cathro. And now Gamelli fires a shot, and well defended by Carson Cherry. Seems to me a lot of the times today here, Phil, if we've seen Carson Cherry just being that much of a factor on defense.
Yeah, similar to the first half, just a nice early start for Racing to keep the ball on our end and draw their first corner kick of the second half.
Sam Carey has been the corner kick specialist so far all evening. Racing Louisville. She sends it long into the penalty area. Contested shot, and it's loose, and it's out of play. That went off the post as Mackenzie Wood tried to navigate her way through traffic. And needless to say, it does not get any closer than that as we take a look at the replay.
Yeah, the choice for Paul Dolinsky to have someone on the post, Grace Barr on that back post. A lot of time in the modern game, you don't have players on the post because you're worried about offsides and getting the lineup. But if you look at there on that hugging that back post right now, she just saved that goal.
So we have another corner kick from the other side now for Carey. Header a little bit too high for her teammate in the box. Indy 11 making Racing Louisville earn every opportunity to get their hands on. Sauter. McCarthy in turn trips up Cathro, and that'll be a free kick.
Yeah, Racing midfielders in between the lines of our back line and our backup midfielders. You want was on. PK changes to a 4-2-3-1 to be solid in the back.
So awaiting the free kick. Robbins sends it in. Chipped up. And a clear out nonetheless from McCarthy.
So once again, from Grace Barr saving that ball off the line, and just the principles that each one of these individuals have. You know, they really, really well since they were little kids to understand the principles of defensive positioning and footwork, and it's nice to see.
So now a free kick for the 11. Who has some solid defensive line. Will send it in. Julia Leonard, one of many Butler players on this Indy 11 roster. Robbins knocks it ahead to Cathro. And we're 10 minutes in here as this portion of the broadcast sponsored by Central Indiana Honda Dealers, the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11. Throw in from Rogers, finds Chester. And now here's an opportunity for McCarthy. One-on-one now. And she tries to knock it inside, but well defended there is Sarah Hernandez.
You just love to see McCarthy, you know, having to them under pressure, attack the 1v1.
She has a motor on her, to say the least.
It's very, very difficult to find players these days that have the willingness and desire to go at players 1v1 and take the chance. With Katie Soderstrom, you've got those players in the field that are willing to do that.
So Soderstrom will take the corner here for the 11. Opts to keep it on the ground. Here's Barr. She'll send it into the penalty area and held up and goes out of play. Maybe waited a little too long for that delivery.
Yeah, and again, it's just under hit. You saw it was a design play by Coach Paul Dolinsky. Runners all go circle around to the far post. It was just under hit by Grace. But again, when you're playing 3 games in 7 days with a 100-degree temperature on the road on Tuesday night, these little moments are difficult. As technically gifted as these women are out here, you can tell there's been some fatigue moments setting in.
Soderstrom again will send it. Post. It's still loose, and it's up. Here's Carson Cherry to send it back in, and it's on the top of the net. A couple close calls here for both of these teams, as the 11 couldn't quite get it done there on that relay.
Great save by the goalkeeper. You know, for the youth kids that are watching that, you know, they say when you take a cross, just put the ball right back where the ball came from, and in that moment, head the ball down at the white line as opposed to trying to keep it on target. She does exactly that, and the goalkeeper makes a fantastic save. Should have been 2-0 right there.
Macy Enneking, again the goalkeeper for Racing Louisville tonight, going to be playing her junior season at the University of Iowa next year.
Yeah, you see one of the things Racing tried to play in between the lines, and they're trying to get our outside backs to step to their midfielders. That allows space in behind to play down the line. As this game goes on, that's certainly a pattern of play that they're trying to use.
Addie Chester will send it in, and a goal kick coming up for Racing Louisville. This portion of the match sponsored by Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
Speaking of community and exceptional care, I was saying earlier at the TV break or halftime, Sierra Garber, athletic trainer for Indy 11. I was here yesterday just at the workspace, and 2 by 2, these Indy 11 players came in every 30 minutes throughout the entire day, and Sierra was just, you know, taking care of them, stretching them out, getting them prepared. Just outstanding efforts by her. The team has a physio. The team has a chiropractor. Of Indy 11's management, and all those little things really, really help us through these moments.
And it certainly helps that the team has stayed mostly healthy here. Granted, a couple of miscues along the season, Christina Lynch being one of them, out with an ankle tonight, as you'll see a free kick here for Indy 11.
Yeah, you'd like to see Greta there find the ball and see if she could have found Addie Chester to create a 2v1 with McCarthy. Created a 1v1 moment. Those are just decisions that you learn. I mean, anytime you piece together a team, and we're 4 weeks in, I think we're playing phenomenally. But in another 2 or 3 weeks, I think you're going to see that many more connections on the field that take us to the next level.
Delivery in, header, loose ball, shot, score! A big goal once again, and it looks like it came off the foot. Let's take a look at this one again. And indeed it was her second goal of the night, coming off of a hat trick at the last home game here at Grand Park against Flint City. Needless to say, she's poised for do another one again. She has 2 goals tonight to make it 2-0 for the Indy 11.
Well, I know our president, Greg Stremla, was a big-time hockey player growing up. I don't recall if hockey players really jump when they're on the rink, but when she scored that goal, I look back, I think he was about a 4-foot vertical somewhere in there.
Good to see some good performances tonight for management, certainly for the fans as well. And needless to say, as we were talking before we even got on the air here tonight, Phil, all you cared about was just getting a good result. Maybe even a draw would have been a good result tonight. 2-0 here with 57 minutes down. You couldn't ask for a better result here for the Indy 11 and Coach Brandon Kim on the sideline.
Yeah, and I think you gotta watch out here. I don't think you want to make a tactical decision right now or tactical change right now. I think you keep it just like it is. You see if Racing is going to make a change first. As long as they just keep defending and keep our heads. But this is where you separate the true professionals from others. You know, how do they handle these moments? Can they carry this out?
And you see the free kick now here for Racing Louisville. That involved Rachel McCarthy. And as you remember, she has a yellow card, so she needs to be careful here. Another yellow card could result in an ejection. Sent in for Racing. Shot inside. Another nice save by Mackenzie Wood.
Yeah, and we're pretty deep in the bench. And like I was saying before, I think Melissa Bulatovic will come in for one of the front 3 at some point here. The decision would, you know, looking at Maddie Williams, you'd think she might be the most fatigued from recent competitions. But with Rachel McCarthy having that yellow card, that certainly does make a decision, weigh a decision in the coach's mind.
If she is the most fatigued, she could certainly fool me and the rest of the Indy 11 faithful here tonight.
Well, she just made a brilliant angled run there, and the center back for Racing was caught flat-footed, toes pointing forward, hips straight. If that ball would have been played in between the 5 and the 3 there, I think Maddie Williams is in on another breakaway.
And now if you're Racing Louisville, you're in certainly a hole that you do not want to be in at this point in the match, considering what's on the line tonight. The winner of this match could take sole possession of first place in the USL double. And as you know, that certainly has playoff implications going into the back half of the season.
Hey, you know, when the ball went out of bounds there, one thing I was going to say early in the first half, late, you know, it kind of gives me chills here, goosebumps on the sideline. You see Mackenzie Wood, you see Julia Leonard, you see Greta, all shouting, pointing, organizing. And when you have a team that starts getting fatigued and tired, you have to have good leadership through the middle of the core of the back. And that's what we're seeing right there. You see how early the back line's dropping for Indy 11. It can cause problems if you continue to have a 60-yard.
And here's a scramble by Soderstrom off of the miscue. Shot inside, and it rattles in. 3-0, Indy 11. Katie Soderstrom with her 7th goal of the season. The scoring stat book in the division with Bailey Kornhorn of Kalamazoo FC, and that was off of a miscue from the back line of Racing Louisville.
Yeah, naturally we're in the 60th minute, so you see a couple subs were coming in regardless of that goal. So it's not like, hey, we've done our job, we're pulling players off the field. These were designed subs that are coming to the game. So
we'll see certainly a couple here. Appears to be checking out of the ball game here. She has a yellow card to her credit tonight, but certainly had a huge impact in the midfield play. And now we will see Milica Bulatovic move into the ball game, and we'll see maybe a couple other subs as well, as Addie Chester appears to be done for the night.
Yeah, it looks like Jenna Chatterston might be spelling her in midfield as we expected. It's a lot of running from Addie Chester. She had a fantastic game defensively. So many things go into each individual player in the field, and it's not just the one that scores the goals or blocks the goals, as we've clearly identified. But going back to those two number 8s, Addie Chester, Ella Rogers have just worked their tails off. Jenna Chatterston brings an element of surprise, very good on the dribble, out of Tennessee, through this. Doesn't mind running 5 miles in 30 minutes. But on these counterattacks, you see in these moments, on these counterattacks, she could be absolutely dead.
You know, and on that note, as far as miles put in by these players in any general soccer match, to make this point every clear whenever I broadcast a soccer match, how many miles would you say that these players are putting in on any given day for a 90-minute soccer match?
Yeah, I would say the two number 8s, if they were to play 90 minutes, at this level, they're probably putting in about 8 miles. You know, they say that the best center backs get a walk more times than none, so they're typically, them and the 9s are typically the ones that put on the least amount of steps in a game, but those center mids are putting on a lot.
Just puts it in perspective, the conditioning you have to play this game and play it well for a full 90 minutes. Soderstrom, feeling the pressure, has to send it up the side of the field. And no one there to corral it. So Maddie Williams remains in the ball game for the time being, along with Bulatovic and Soderstrom, the front 3 attackers.
Yeah, Bulatovic is Serbian. You know, you look up at the flag, the for her country. Just nice to see them having proper support from our crowd. I'll tell you what, if she gets the ball in and around goal, just look out.
Bulatovic had 41 goals in 33 matches in junior college ball, as Soderstrom chips that in for an easy take by Enneking.
I'm pretty sure that was a shot, not a cross. But I saw the idea to chip the keeper to the back post. She is very opportunistic. That's what makes her so good. Just a dangerous, dangerous player. Right now, just more than happy to be content, be relaxed defensively. Again, take away the central channel.
And that's of note because obviously now you have a very comfortable cushion at 3-0. At this point, or at what point do you start getting into the mode of just killing time and making sure that you come away protecting that lead?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, it's the funny part about coaching. I've seen coaches, you know, not fully developed coaches at 3-0. And next thing you know, you lose 4-3. You know, the key here is to get a shutout, make sure protecting Z, your goalkeeper, Mackenzie Wood, you're giving her the respect to the back line. Clean sheets are statistics for them, and signs of respect that you're working hard in front of you. It's a good job to keep the ball here, make Racing chase a little bit. See if you can pull out that back line before you get behind them again, turn them around. It's great. That's an absolute fantastic principle. Again, for all the youth out there that are watching out here, you must defend. You must be good in transition to make the higher levels. Doesn't matter if you're a forward, a defender, a midfielder. If you don't defend highest level, and just moments when you lose possession, you have to fight hard for your team to chase that ball back.
This portion of the match sponsored by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care, simply delivered. So we're 65 minutes into this one. Indy 11 in a very And what makes this even more remarkable here, Phil, is the fact that Indy 11 has a 3-0 lead, considering that you're down your head coach, you're down Molly McLaughlin, probably your best midfield player, as well as Christina Lynch out with an ankle. You're missing a lot of pieces tonight, and against a very talented Racing Louisville FC team, which is basically at full strength.
Yeah, you know, coach involved tonight, Brandon Kim. He's a part of the Fire structure. He's actually a U11, U12 girls director, so a 99. But the philosophy, the system is built all the way through the U system, all the way up. So with the absence of Paul Delinsky, Brandon Kim knows exactly how to fill in his shoes.
A little bit of pressure being felt by the back line of Indy 11 now as Grace Barr will clear it out. And of course, part of that program, Grace Barr herself, the player coach of this Indy 11 squad. It's certainly a benefit not only having a talented player who can still make an impact, but also being a guiding light for this team out on the field.
Yeah, and she'll also coach in the youth academy with Brandon Kim this next year. The best players are also, you know, are the best coaches on the field, and I think there's about 5 or 6 of these. Oh. Offsides.
And an offsides call there. We'll give it back to Indy 11.
But there's about 5 or 6 of these women out here that are helping coach the Indy 11 summer camps throughout the summer. And it's amazing, like, that when you step across the line from player to coach, all the things you got to learn, relearn that you didn't know about your game going through development, and they're picking it up. And as they pick this up, they're just going to become better players.
And continuing with Grace Barr, this is certainly a match that it's beneficial to have a player like Grace Barr, because camp last year before making the trip up here to play for the Indy 11.
Yeah, professional player. You know, she took I believe a shoulder injury that set her back a bit. So we're lucky to have her with us.
Barr played her college ball at both Wisconsin and Xavier, all Big East in 2019. And the accolades go on from there. So Greta Krasula tries to find Bulatovic. And nothing quite there.
Great job there. Wasn't able to make a pass, protect the ball underneath her. Good technical control. Once again, I'm just so amazed at watching these games every weekend. The amount of technical control that these women have is just through the roof. I mean, it's so good on the ball.
So here is Barr again. Puts her boot into it. No one in the penalty area to corral it. And right at the upper corner, Enneking has to strain, but makes an easy save.
Yeah, it was actually a fantastic ball by Grace. I think you just have a little bit less of a desire to get numbers in the box and score a 4th goal, which is understandable. Tired legs, but you look now at the defensive compactness. You know, good luck to Racing to break through these lines here. The other thing I'll comment is, you know, Indy 11's not giving away a free kick close around the box. You know, not only are they getting numbers back, but once again, the principles, the focus, you know, not to make those mistakes.
Especially at this point in the match when you're literally just in protection mode of this lead.
Absolutely.
Getting her foot on the ball for the first time tonight is Maddie Reed, again subbing in for Allison Whitfield, who had a solid first half for Racing. Here's Cathro, feeling the pressure now from Chatterton.
Great job there of keeping the play inside. We've got a numerical advantage inside the middle of the park as opposed to letting them go on the outside. She forced them in, and there's no options inside.
Carey now one-on-one with Soderstrom. Tries to leave it for Robbins. And the Indy 11 come up with it, but it's quickly chipped out of play there by Bulatovic. Throw in here for Racing. And now more substitutions. Here a line change as you'll see a bunch of players come in here for Racing. This portion of the broadcast sponsored by the Indy 11 app. You can take Indy 11 with you wherever you go. Download the Indy 11 app in the Apple Store or in Google Play as well. So of the subs here, as we get our bearings of who we have coming in for Racing. Looks like we're going to be seeing Miletich for the first time tonight, as well as Allie George and Audrey King into the lineup for Racing Louisville.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if they adjusted the shape of the system or they're just pushing players a little bit higher.
Working it up now is Audrey King. She gives it back now to Carey. Carey with a little bit of space in midfield. Here's King. We're trying to find Schlegel. A play by one of the Indy 11 defenders. Looked like it was Cherry on that again. Schlegel again being well defended by Carson Cherry.
Just look at her feet there. I mean, her feet are moving with her. She's not getting stuck on her back foot. I mean, it's just very, very good technical defending there by Carson Cherry. She's got a bright future, that kid.
Again, Carson Cherry as the long ball corralled by Mackenzie Wood. Carson Cherry going to be playing at the University of Louisville along with Addie Chester.
Yeah, the keeper went up, and the principle of Robin McCarthy to cover the keeper, the goal line, as she called for it. Just little moments of just good soccer plays.
Applying the pressure hard here as a smart play by Robin McCarthy to just send it out and force a corner kick to allow her defensive back line to regroup.
Yeah, she did a good job of narrowing in and taking out the right path, but that ball hung up on the turf a little bit more than she probably would have anticipated if it was out on natural grass. Good for her to get that clearance off.
Once again, Sam Carey to take the corner. Close to the goal. It's juggled and cleared out by Cherry.
Look, yeah, one thing, probably about 8 to 10 clearances now that have been miskicked, and defensively when you get in that moment, I know we don't have our natural defenders, you know, in the game, but being able to stay under control and using the proper technique, it doesn't have to go not so much so high, so wide, so far. It's just getting the right foot connected to it ball, getting it out of the area. On the defensive clearances a bit.
Back and forth we go here. Schlegel working with Madrill. Sent in. Header into the middle. Numbers. Shot goes wide, but a whistle before the shot.
Just calling a handball penalty kick, I believe.
And this time it happened well within the penalty area. We saw this earlier in the match, but it was the other way around. Now, Racing Louisville has a chance to cut into this lead, as you see it clear as day right there. Unfortunate handball, resulting in a penalty kick. Meanwhile, you see the Indy 11 players still trying to plead their case to the official, but she's not having any of it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because she did jump. She did keep her right arm down. Her left hand just came a little bit away from her body, and you know the laws of this game are very tough.
So it's going to be Emily Madrill here to take the penalty kick. One-on-one here with Mackenzie Wood in goal.
Yeah, Mackenzie's taking her time, trying to freeze the kicker. I'm sure they've done their studies to figure out which way she's going to take this kick, whether it's in the W League or whether it's in her collegiate environment she's coming from.
So Mackenzie Wood steps up to her line. Hands in the air. Madrill fires in, just gets past the hands of Mackenzie Wood. So Racing Louisville finally gets one on the board to cut into the 3-0 lead, now make it 3-1.
And you see Coach Brandon Kim right there is looking for his critical moment right now. As a coach, sometimes you can sit down and relax, but in that moment, you got to get out, you got to stand up, you got to encourage your players, you got to bring your team together, get them thinking, get them concentrating.
And Mackenzie Wood just hesitating ever so slightly. Gets her 4th goal of Needless to say, kind of got to the confidence here for the Indy 11 at this point in the match as we sit 75 minutes down and time still ticking away.
Tell you what, Maddie, that sneaks in there. You know, this corner kick's going to take about a minute and a half off the game for one thing, but she's...
Soderstrom will take the corner once again and taking her time doing it. Any rest you can certainly give your team. Soderstrom sending it in and into some traffic. Several players head on it, but it's chipped out of play. This portion of the match sponsored by Alpha Health and Wellness, the official team chiropractor of the Indy 11.
Yeah, well-designed corner right there. They had everyone kind of pick and curl to the back post. Greta couldn't just redirect that on the frame.
Bringing it upfield now is Hernandez. Trying to knock it forward. Well defended by the Indy 11 back line. Bulatovic. A little pressure there on midfield. Here's Sanchez. Tossing it up. Trying to find Reed. And it's intercepted by Soderstrom. Put forward now to Bulatovic. Has to earn it. And feeds it back to the back line. Grace Barr feeling the pressure. One thing's for certain here, Phil. It doesn't seem to me that Indy 11 can just sit back.
That should be a yellow card here. Tug on the jersey.
And so a pretty clear-cut call here for the official there. She's talking to her. Out the card. So no yellow card given to Ella Sanchez. Clear tug of the jersey right there on the replay. Now, if you're an official, is that a judgment call or is that typically a yellow card?
That's a yellow card in any field in the country or in the world, I think. So, not sure if she missed it or maybe had a slightly different angle where she thought maybe it was just a quick hand pull or something, but clear jersey pull, preventing an attack. That's 100% a yellow card.
But none given to this juncture. So play continues, and now a free kick for Racing.
Yeah, minimally it gave, which could excite our fans. But two things: when you get excited, sometimes you lose a bit of composure in these moments.
So the free kick here for Racing. Long ball sent in. Some pressure-packed moments down there in the penalty area. And the Indy 11 once again defend well. Sends it across. Pushed out by the back line. Bulatovic gets a foot on it. Chatterton. Coming back the other way. Shot from the 18 runs right into a brick wall of Indy 11 players. Rogers has Williams. She's onside. Williams chips it back to Soderstrom. Soderstrom gets around the player. Into the penalty area. Shot and a save by Anna King.
Yeah, the first ball over from Maddie Williams was played slightly behind Soderstrom, but slow the attack up. Bulachik made a nice run inside. Defender did a nice job of taking away that pass, but Soderstrom did absolutely the right thing there. She just a little bit out of her reach, which forced her to put it near post versus far post.
Regardless of how short and quick that attack was, though, Phil, certainly gives you a little bit of breathing room based off of how much pressure that you've been getting over the last 5 or 6 minutes or so from the offensive Racing Louisville.
Yeah, and it's a game mentality. So just one attack like that, thought process back a little bit, bring some more players back, deny the counterattack. They're pushing so many players so high up the field. We had to have that threat.
10 minutes left in this one. Time.
This is again great down pressure by Jenna Chatterton there to force an error. Good compactness in by Grace. Get herself set, get herself rested.
Kind of an awkward ball made there by Barr. Puts it right back into the feet of racing. That's Clara Robbins.
Yeah, those moments are going to be critical. Latovich, we've got to make sure we receive that ball, we hold it up. Make that pass. That's one more lethal counter.
Here's Madrill. Dumps it back to Robbins. Back. And Soderstrom is able to break up the core of the midfielders there from Racing Louisville. Another substitution here for the Indy 11. And as anticipated, Phil, Maddie Williams in is going to be Abby Isger.
Yeah, Abby Isger, she would typically play wide in the back. Looks like she's might move into a 4-2-3-1, playing the right side here. Fresh legs, probably more of a defensive mentality than what you took off the field, but up 2 goals with 9 minutes left. Good decision by coach.
Abby Isger, a redshirt junior from Butler this coming fall. 9 career goals in 33 matches for the Dogs. And now an opening for Soderstrom briefly before she gets held up by Hernandez. Looking inside, an opportunity for Racing. And some chippiness in the penalty area. The official says play on.
And that's exactly one of the keys to this game. Talking to Coach Paul Delancey coming in, that run right through the midfield. Greta, our defensive midfielder, tracked so well there. Blindsided the center backs. Great job by Greta. Fantastic.
And Mackenzie Wood clears it out of the penalty area. Chip back up again. And Wood once again gets it right back. And fends off the pressure there from Allie George.
Yeah, you'd like to see Mackenzie get the back line up, maybe drop the ball here, play with your feet out, take an extra 10, 15 seconds. But our back line looks like they're pretty slow to move there.
Copy.
Bulatovic putting the pressure now on Racing. And now back into the midfield we go. Quick legs from Madrill. She had the goal earlier in the game. Dumps it off to Robbins. Pushing ahead. Madrill comes away with it. Shot. And another big save by Mackenzie Wood.
Yeah, it's a good teaching moment that Paul Delancey will probably show to the team this week on film. You know, if I'm Greta there, I'm probably taking a yellow card at midfield, stopping the play, grabbing her jersey, allowing our team to get back as opposed to let that counterattack take place. Giving up a yellow card with 7 minutes left isn't bothersome at all.
Audrey King.
So again, they want to get the ball wide, but Jenna Chatters is doing such a nice job preventing that.
And pushed out by Carson Cherry. This portion of the match sponsored by Alpha Health and Wellness, the official team chiropractor of the Indy 11. Sam Carey feeling the pressure from Isger. Here's Reed with a little bit of room. Cross. Instead, nice pressure from Robin McCarthy.
Yeah, you know, Robin McCarthy's a defender first. As a wing back, sometimes you can choose to have somebody out there that's going to run up and down the field and get good attacks. But you look at her defensive positioning, I'm getting bored at the good defensive posture of our backs in the goal, defending the box. I actually watched that one in isolation.
Cross inside from the corner. Nothing doing there. Soderstrom, or rather Leonard, tries to clear it out. Can't quite get a foot on it.
Yeah, and Julia, obviously she's pretty fatigued at this point, but once again, it's just a failure to clear there.
Cross back in again. Header chipped up. And the 11 give themselves a little bit of room. Approaching the 5-minute mark here of this half and this match. Again. Cross inside. Header back the other way, and a nice save. Wood off of the back and forth in the penalty area.
You know, some people might look at this and say, she's just lucky. But when you look at her feet and the way they moved out, and then how she got back across the line as quickly as she can, it's just class as a goalkeeper. Her foundation's been built properly from a young.
And that prevents a rally here for Racing Louisville. And again, as I mentioned, a match with lots on the line. First place in the Great Lakes Division, a nice setup for a postseason berth going into the rest of the season. Obviously, your toughest opponent here this season for the Indy 11 before they take on Kalamazoo and Detroit City, alternating games for the last 4 matches.
Well, you see here now, you've got Grace Barr in the back, you've got Julie, you've got Greta. Every guard, they're unable to lead out of the back right now, to talk, to hype them up. This is where it's absolutely critical for Mackenzie Wood as the goalkeeper to start shouting on top of them.
And another substitution as Sam Carey will finally check out of the game. And now we have Tessa Delarose. Needless to say, a soccer prodigy in the Louisville area. NWSL team, also part of the Riverhounds Academy. She's also competed internationally for the U16 for the U.S. national team and UA across the pond.
Tell you what, Greta's she's 87 minutes into this game.
This portion of the match, Indiana Honda Dealers, the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11. So now you get into crunch time here. If you're Racing Louisville, any opportunity you can possibly get, you try to take advantage. Meanwhile, if you're the 11, you just remain poised on the defensive back line. At this point, you have any available player you can just to keep anybody from getting pressure inside.
And we've talked about her intelligence. You know, Racing's forwards got her by about 8 inches. She's so athletic. Yeah, I'm just going to nudge you at the exact right time to have you redirect the ball improperly. So it's just so nice to watch.
And leadership that she brings to the back line here of the Indy 11.
And that's the clearance ball high over that first line of defense to make sure we stay underneath it. That's a good technical clearance. Minute to see good technical decisions is nice to see if you're the head coach of Indy 11.
Time winding down. Shot by Mackenzie Wood. And now we talked earlier about how the back line for the good job, but the last few minutes or so, as you mentioned before the broadcast, a lot the last few minutes for Mackenzie Wood.
Absolutely, and that's I think a good team, and the trust and respect and the support of the rest of her team. That it's nice to see. That's a very good job of Soderstrom hanging on to the ball. You know, the ball, it's going to take about 30 extra seconds off the clock, which is important.
And we're in the final minute now of stoppage time. Here is Isger. Tries to cross it inside on a rare offensive attack here late in the game from Indy.
Yeah, good decision. Ball over the top and behind, turn them around.
And Soderstrom will take her time, walking to take.
Yeah, again, for the youth, for the people that are watching this game, look at Soderstrom walking to the ball. 14, U15, you'll see we're winning by a goal, by 2 goals. We're still sprinting to get the ball in play. You know, this is game management, and it's such a difference between a professional and non-professional.
Barr sends it in, some pressure from Indy, and we have a kick coming from Racing Louisville.
It's nice to see how quickly everyone's running to get back on defense right now. Nobody's taking the breaks. Even Bolatovic, highest player on the field, is now back in position to get the ball in transition, hold it up, start a counterattack. Let's see if we can now just take this to a corner.
So 2 extra minutes of stoppage time. We play on after the 90th minute. Racing trying to salvage whatever damage that they can here. But as time continues to wind down, needless to say, Indy still has to keep their poise here, as you mentioned, at the first iteration of stoppage time. Many goals happen in those extra couple of minutes. Belitic loses the handle. 1 minute of stoppage time down.
Once again, right there by Soderstrom, she's trying to get wide to force the ball through the middle, which forced their back to come so much further back to get the ball in possession. Your 90 minutes.
Here's Madrill crossing it in. Nothing doing. Wide open is Robbins. Pressure from Indy 11 puts it out the back goal line.
What I was going to say is Soderstrom's 90 minutes in the game. She's still listening to the coach's game plan. And as you get to the professional levels, that's the difference between a player that continues to play and players that don't. Do you listen to the coach's game plan? Do you respect the coach's game plan? And then do you have enough fight and focus to continue to stay involved in that game plan?
Mackenzie Wood knocks it across midfield. As we approach the second minute of stoppage time, at any minute now. And there is the final whistle. And that does it. Indy 11 rising to the challenge here tonight against a formidable opponent in Racing Louisville FC. They win 3-1 to move to 6-0-2 on the year, and they claim sole possession of first place of the Great Lakes Division in the USLW League.
Yeah, just a great game overall. Proud of these women. Good effort. They all protected each other, supported each other, played for their coach. Congrats to Brandon Kim. I know, speaking to him since Tuesday night, there was obviously some quick nerves that hit his system. He's had time to reflect, to think about the game, to have discussions. And he handled himself, his decisions to make substitutes the way he did, to encourage the team after they got scored on, to ramp them back up. Really nice to see from a young, inspiring coach.
And for head coach Paul Dolinsky as well, how relieved are you knowing that you couldn't be involved in this one here tonight, and how proud of you of your team, just knowing that they could go out there and deliver given the circumstances?
Oh yeah, you know, I think if you're Paul Dolinsky, you're probably happier now, even if you're on the field winning that game, because what you're witnessing is the work ethic, the principles instilled in these kids to follow the game plan, to respect the decision, to fight for the program as they dance for the BYB. If you're Paul Dolinsky, you're pretty excited.
Definitely. So with that, the Indy 11 get 3 valuable points in efforts to take sole possession of first place in the Great Lakes Division as they knock off Racing Louisville FC 3-1. Phil Presser, it's been a pleasure working with you tonight, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. It's been enjoyable. I'm ultimately sad that the game's ended because we can stop talking about soccer.
Definitely. Final score once again 3-1. I'm Kurt Darling alongside Phil Presser. Thanks so long for watching here on ISC Sports Network and 11 Sports.
Honda is the most fuel-efficient automaker in America. That means you get more miles per gallon with Honda. Save at the pump with up to 40 mpgs for Honda cars and SUVs. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Place your soccer bets at Bet Rivers Sportsbook, your new home for soccer betting. The most soccer betting options on the sport you love. We offer live in-game betting on major soccer matches worldwide. We have tons of bets available during game, from money lines, goal spreads, player goals, half bets, and many more. Bet Rivers is proud to be the official sports betting partner of the Indy 11, Indiana's team. Sign up now. We'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, more action, more fun. Place your bets at betrivers.com.
So many people were out of work from COVID, not being able to pay their utility bills, not being able to pay their rent, and that's why our job is so important.
And what we've committed to is working with our partners around food pantries, around making sure that people get connected to what they need.
Our job is more than just giving people resources, it's be that hand to help them when they're feeling down.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/simplydelivered. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
In 7 years, you can meet, get married, have kids, get a dog, and still be covered in your Honda certified vehicle. Get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty, plus factory trained technicians and Honda genuine parts. Search a local Honda dealer today.